come across these questions in JAMB, will you be able to answer them? Look at this first question from 2010 that is asking about a graph that has given you graph and asks you to use the graph to answer the question under variation. And the same graph, you are going to use it to answer question 43. See another question from 2018. In fact, this 2018 question was a question in 2010 question 50. You can fact check me to be sure that what I'm saying is true. So why am I bringing all these things? I'm bringing them because JAMB has a set syllables, and once you are able to convert those syllables into questions, I'm telling you, you'll be able to answer these questions at ease and without any struggle. So today we are going to look at variation briefly. I'm going to show you what JAMB expects you to know and what you should know, and how you'll be able to answer questions like this in JAMB that is coming very soon. So let's quickly dive into it. So the first thing is that under variation in biology, JAMB has an objective. There are things they expect you to know. So if you are able to know it, it means you have been able to answer the questions that they are going to ask you in JAMB this year. Or rather next year, because we are almost at the end of the year. So here are the 5 objectives under this part of variation that JAMB has given, that you as a student or as a candidate for JAMB should be able to know. Because the topic is bulky, I'm not able to cover it in this one video, but I'm going to cover some other parts in another video. So I would share these slides later, this PowerPoint, for you to study. If you are not my student, please, if you want it, you can also indicate interest. So let's start with continuous variation. Of course, you know what variation is. It's just changes, it's just differences that exist between individuals. So when we talk about continuous variation, out of which that question of graph came out, we are talking about a variation that is continuous, just like the word implies. For example, if we take height as an example, we have a range between two extreme ends. For example, we may have the shortest person on earth, of course, and we may have the tallest person on earth. But in between the shortest person and the tallest person are a range number of people. For example, we can have someone to be at height of 5.5 centimeters, 5.6, 5.7, 5.78, 5.88. The person may not be in Nigeria, but definitely such a person can be found. So you can see that height in human beings is a continuous thing. You can find numbers continually. Unlike when we talk about sex, for example, you can either be male or female. That is not continuous. We only have one, whether you belong to this category or you belong to the other category. For example, there is this chemical PTC that some people, when they put it on their mouth, it tastes bitter, but some, when they taste it, it is tasteless. So this is discontinuous. There is no in between. You can either taste it or you cannot taste it. That's all. So this is what we call continuous variation, a variation that has a continuity. For example, height. The foot length. Some people's foot are tall, moderate, in between. You can find different variations of length of the foot. We also have hand span. Your hand span and another person may vary. Your own may be 5 centimeter, another own may be 5.5 centimeter, another may be 5.52 centimeter, another maybe. The number is continuous between the two extremes, between the one that has the shortest on earth and the one that has the longest on earth. There are several continuous numbers in between. This is what we call continuous variation. The differences that exist continually among individuals. I hope this is very clear. Please, I want you to know this, especially note the examples, because I'm going to give you some really JAMB questions, and you are going to answer them as assignment. You are going to see things like this. I hope you are getting it. All right, so also even my explanation, some of the things that are not here, I'm explaining them, and there are questions there for your assignment. So listen carefully, and whatever you are doing, you could stop it and just pay attention and understand this video clearly. So key important things you should know under continuous variation is that it shows a range of phenotype. When we talk phenotype, we talk about physical appearance, visible. We have genotype, which has to do with genetic makeup. So it is a range of phenotypes with no clear cut up categories. No clear cut of category. So if you are to draw the graph from the extreme end to the extreme, it's going to give you bell shape. Bell shape. Like, I don't want to call it U, but bell shape. It will give you a graph like a bell. The reason is because from the smallest to the highest and then to the smallest again. So that's how the graph. So you must know this. This can be your objective question in the next JAMB. Please know it. I beg you. The next thing is characteristics. So another thing you should know is that continuous variation are controlled by multiple genes. That's why the variation is continuous, is polygenic, is controlled by many genes, and is influenced by environment. There are some things I will mention also later. We are going to look at them. Let me not make so examples. Please know as many I just beg you, know as many examples as possible. Weight it varies. Another person may be 78 kilo, another one will be 79 kilo, another one 80 kilo, 81 kilo, 90 kilo. You see, it's continuous. You cannot say either you are 70 or you are 100. You must be like that. No. So that is an example of continuous. We have leaf size in plants. Plants may be the same variety, but the leaf size may differ depending on whether the place is fertile, whether the plant gets water continually, whether the environment is favorable. There are so many factors. Milk yield in cows. Cows may be giving birth the same day, but their level of milk production may differ depending on whether they are eating well, whether the kind of food they are eating, many other things. So this is what we call continuous variation. I hope this is very clear by now. All right, so we move right into this continuous variation. So look at this image. We have eye color. Do you know that some people's eyeball is blue in color? Yes, we may not be able to, maybe you might not have come across that, but if you know that we have people. So you look at this color, different eye color, different people. So we don't have a continuous chain in terms of eye color. You can either have blue, brown, greenish, or whichever. So the variations are not many. You can either be here or there. No two ways about, no in between. So the same thing with gender. Gender, you can either be male or female, no in between. The same thing with blood group. Either you are blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB, or blood group O. We don't have in between. So this is what we refer to as discontinuous variation. Ability to roll tongue. You can either roll tongue. Let me try if I can roll. No, I cannot. Some people can roll their tongue. They will kind of squeeze it together. Not backward though. Like, I don't know how to do it, sorry. So I cannot do it. I'm not just a tongue roller, but you may try your own. Maybe you can do it. So I hope this is very clear. So key things you must not forget under discontinuous variation are variations with distinct categories. They have distinct categories of phenotype, no intermediates, no in-betweens. And they are usually controlled by few genes, contrary to the other one. So characteristics are usually controlled by few genes, less influenced by environment. So environment doesn't influence this. For example, environment cannot influence your blood group. If you are A, you are A. If you are B, you are B. Unlike unlike continuous variation, where, for example, the amount of food you give the cows will determine the amount of milk they produce. So those environment can affect them. So we have already given examples here. I don't need to go again and again. By the time I share this material, you'll be able to go through it again using your phone, and you will get more information. So there is a clear difference. The properties, this is just the summary of all I have been saying. By the time I share this material, please, you just go through it, and you would learn several other things. Examples are there. So this is a difference between continuous and discontinuous variation. The graphs, you can represent continuous variation in a line graph, while the other one, bar chart, because it can either be A or B, AB or O. For example, in the blood group, or eye color can either be this color, that color, or that. Or PTC taste, ability to taste. You can either be able to taste it or not be able to taste it. That's all. There is no in between. So controlled by few genes, controlled by multiple genes, and so on and so forth. By the time I share, you are going to get a lot. Yeah, so the next thing JAMB wants you to know is factors that influence variation. What influences variation? You have to know this. This time around, we are talking about both continuous and discontinuous variation. So there are several factors that influences variation. I've talked about genetic. Genetics can influence variation. For example, if your dad is blood group O, your mom is blood group O, definitely you are going to be blood group O. If your dad is blood group A, your mom is blood group O, you are going to be blood group A. So A will always be dominant, AB, if your parents are A and B, and so on and so forth. So those are genetic. They are influenced by genetic variations. Then we have environmental, like height. Height can be affected by environment. Height can be affected by environment. Malnourished children, there's what we call stunting. Stunting. Height for age is very low. Maybe the height a child is supposed to attain at age 5 is smaller than that because it's not feeding very well. So that's environmental, nutrition wise. So we have environmental, we have genetic, we have several other factors. I'm going to talk about them more in the next slide. We are on objective 2 already, so I want us to be very fast. So we have genetic constitution. It affects it. It affects the variation. Environmental conditions like temperature, nutrition. I've mentioned nutrition again and again. Don't mind me, it's because I'm a nutritionist. That's why I mentioned nutrition very fast. All right, so we have pollution, we have several other things that affect them. Then we have habitat, the shape of adaptation. For example, some organisms take a particular, like chameleon. Chameleon can change color depending on the environment for adaptation, to adapt, to hide itself, to camouflage, so that other animals will not kill it, and so on and so forth. So we have habitats that determines. Then we have combined effect of genetic and environment. So these 4 key are very important factors that influence variation. You should not forget, by all means. Please. As we are expecting questions from JAMB this year, it's not going to be easy. So it is. I just beg you to get all these things. Thank you. Yes, objective 3. JAMB also expects you to be able to know how to measure height and weight. I don't know why. I know I can set questions from here, quite alright, and JAMB can, but I just felt it is too simple, too basic for JAMB to say you should know this. I think ordinarily everybody should know this, but it's not everybody that knows it, by the way. So how do you measure height? You measure height by using, we are talking about human beings now. So you measure it by using either, there's what we call stendiometer. For children, stendiometer is just like a meter rule that is high. So the child will remove its shoe and anything that will affect the height, stand on it, then you measure. So there is the procedure for that. You can use also measuring tape for that. So stand straight, heels together. Heels must be together. The back will be against the wall. Then you mark and measure in centimeters. Maybe it's this procedure JAMB will ask you, in case they'll say, if you want to measure the height, what's the proper way? What is the proper procedure? They can say, first, heels, Roman number 1, heels will be together. Roman number 2, stand straight. Roman number 3, back against the wall. Roman number 4, mark and measure in centimeters. They can now say which is the correct order. A, Roman number 2 first, Roman number 1, Roman. You know how they ask these questions now? Yes. So questions like that can come. How do you measure weight? You measure weight by using digital scale. That is very simple. Remove anything that will add to the weight. Climb on the scale. Then you take the reading. Remove shoe, heavy. So safety, ensure privacy and accuracy. Make sure that your readings are correct. Most times you take average. You take multiple readings and take average. For example, you can tell the child, climb the scale. Climb 3 kg, climb again 3.5 kg, climb again for the 3rd time and maybe it give you 3.2 kg. Add the 3 and take the average. Use the average as the correct value. They say you should know how to plot the graph. So and this is very important because we've already seen their question in the our first slide. We've seen it. Hey, should I even answer that question or I should leave it as an assignment? Okay, maybe I'll answer it. All right. So how do you measure graphs? For example, in continuous variation, if you are dealing with, let's say, 100 pupils and you want to know their heights, you will not be able to put all of them in a sheet because the number is large. So you group them. Maybe those that fall between 1 to 5 centimeter, those that fall between 6 to 10 centimeter, and then you use frequency to plot it. So here we have a bar chart for height. Yes, in centimeter, I guess. Yes, it is. So that's how the graphs look. JAMB also say you should be able to know how to observe color patterns. Okay, so here I will just talk much about adaptation. And I saw a question. Let me give you a hint. Okay, I will answer the question, but only the smart student will be able to answer it at last. Okay, the question is actually asking about what could cause a change in leaf color, for example, in plants. I planted a plant that gives white seed, but at the end I saw that the color is having a mixture of white and yellow, for example. What could be the cause of this? Because where we have continuous variation, it's usually due to sexual reproduction, mostly sexual reproduction. Animals that produce sexually, they usually have more of continuous variation. So, but this time around, it's talking about cross pollination. Cross pollination. If you plant two different kinds of maize of seed color, white and yellow, close, plant them close. If they flower during the same time, I bet you, by the time the cups are matured, open it and tell me, you would see yellow color, white color in both because of cross pollination. So there is a transfer of the pollen grains from one to the other, and then you would have a mixture of seed. So be able to know how to identify colors. I don't have time. Fingerprint classification. JAMB also say you should know fingerprint classification. No, I don't know why, but it's because they will ask you a question. They expect you to know, of course. So I would advise that you should know the percentage. Like loop is a common type of fingerprint, followed by holes with 30 to 35%, and then arches, which is 5%, is the lowest. So examples are there: the arc, the loop, the hole are all there. So what's the application of fingerprint? Of course, if you want to do voters card, you want to do ATM card, you want to do anything sensitive, they can use, because every individual have a distinct, unique fingerprint. You know that. So it's applied also in crime detection. There are different ways you can use it to detect who committed crime. That's why in advanced countries, if something evil happens somewhere, you have to be very far from that place, because if you mistakenly come and touch the table and they are doing all their forensics and they see your fingerprint, you are in trouble. you are the one. Or maybe someone killed another person using the knife and he left the knife there, or even if he didn't leave the knife, they will come and there is a powder they will put, they will take the fingerprint, so and they will be able to trace you because they have database of everybody's fingerprint. So once they pick that fingerprint, they go and match it, look for the match, and they can detect the person. So unlocking phones, yes, of course, we use it in unlocking phones these days, and you know that it's only your fingerprint that works, so no other person's own. So that's that. Yes, here we are. Assignment questions. So I have 3 questions for you. No? Okay. Okay, answer the 3. Let's quickly go and answer that one together. So answer these 3 questions and submit to me on WhatsApp. If you are not part of my class or part of my students and wish to be part of us, please indicate that I want to be part of your class, sir, on the comment section. Then I will find a way to add you. Are you learning something? My class is interesting. Please like. Have you done that? Hey. All right. Thank you. All right. So if you have liked, let's answer those questions very quickly as we close for the day. If you want this slide and you are not part of my student, please also indicate in the comment section. All right. So here are our questions 2010, and who knows whether these questions repeat. I say this question 18. I will not answer it. Make it your fourth question there. I would only answer this graph question because it's a little bit complex. So even though it's also very simple, it's just understanding. So look at these graphs. We have the percentage of tree population and then we have height of the tree. So we have number 1, we have 2, we have Roman number 3, we have Roman number 4. I hope you can see that very clearly. So the first question says, in which plantation are all the trees between the height of 2 to 4 meters? Between the height of 2 to 4 meters. Is this not too simple, for God's sake? All right, now observe your graph carefully and see which of the plantation starts from 2 and ends at 4, because you see it must have height of between 2 and 4 meters. And see your height on the horizontal there. So the correct answer there is 3, which is A. Observe that the curve for 3 starts from 2 and ends at 4. So it is the plant that has the height between 2 and 4 meters. Is this not too simple? JAMB. How many of you want to score 300 and above? I'm expecting you. Alright, so the next question says, which of the following is a true feature of plantation 2? True feature of, what is the true characteristics of plantation 2? Okay, so let's look at the options. A says it has the highest number of trees of about 2 meters high. B says it has the highest number of trees. Okay. C says it has the highest number of tall trees. We know that this is not correct now. Tall trees should be close to 6, which is 4 that has that. The height of all its trees range between 2 to 6. False. That's not true. So the correct answer is actually A. Because if you look at it, is at number 2 that the curve peaks. So the percentage of all the plants in that category of plantation are having 2 meters height. I hope this is very clear. Thank you once again for watching. Please drop a comment on the comment section. Like this video. If you didn't like this video, I will not be happy with you. If you enjoy my lesson, please like. Some of you will just come and watch video and go like, no. If you have watched it to this end, please like. Drop a comment section. If you are interested in the slide, if you are interested in the class, whichever one, whether you are my student, because my students, I'm only dealing with serious ones. So it's only those who watch that I will share the slide with. So if you have watched, drop in the comment section, I have watched till the end and I need this slide. That's the only thing I want to see. Once I see that, I will share it with you. I have watched till the end and I need the slide. Thank you once again. We meet in the part 2 of the video. Bye.